Hello. In this video, I will discuss with you guys performing a hypothesis test on population mean with population standard deviation unknown using the p-value method. So this video for you to understand how to apply a TI-84 calculator when you need to perform a hypothesis test. We are not using the tables or other type of calculators unless you learn how to do so on your own, but it's not a requirement of our course. So first of all, pay attention that when you perform a hypothesis test, you have to set the H naught and H1 hypothesis correctly. Otherwise, your test will not be correct. Now, when we compute the p-value by using the p-value method of the test statistics, we compute the probability that if we assume that H naught is true and we observe the value presented in a sample, so the probability of observing the value as extreme or even more extreme as the one in a sample. So the idea is that we have a left tail hypothesis testing, we have right-tailed hypothesis testing, or two-tailed. So we calculate the probability under the, it's not exactly normal curve, for a case when the population standard deviation sigma is unknown, but it's similar to the normal curve. And that's why if the p-value is low and less than the significance level alpha, we are going to reject the H naught and state a conclusion about that. Now, if p-value greater than significance level alpha, then we do not reject H naught. Now, how to understand that? The idea behind hypothesis tests is such that for some period of time, we believe that certain parameter is equal to mu naught. For instance, we believe that the average age of students at a certain university is 18 years. But after sampling the students and asking for their age and then averaging, we calculated that the sample mean is 20.2 years. So should we go with a new value for mu naught, or should we believe that the average age of the university students still 18 years? So for that, we have to test two hypotheses, and in this case, it could be mu naught 18 and mu naught not equal 18. Or depends what you want to test. If you tend to think it's higher the age, you can use for H1 mu greater than mu naught. Anyway, so we're going to use TI-84 in this case, and let's look at the example. This example is available in section 9.3 of your textbook. In a recent medical study, 76 subjects were placed on a low-fat diet. After 12 months, their sample mean weight loss was 2.2 kilograms, with a sample standard deviation 6.1 kilograms. Can we conclude that the mean weight loss is greater than 0? Use the alpha equals 500th level of significance. So first of all, in this case, the sample size is large, 76, greater than 30, so we can apply the p-value method because we will work with a curve similar to the normal curve. So here we stated the H0 and H1 hypotheses. We chose the level of significance of which already provided in the textbook, and then we use the t-test. So when the population standard deviation is unknown, we use t-test. If we know the population standard deviation, which is unusual for a real world situation, then we will use c-test. And we calculated that p-value is 0.001193649. That's in comparison to 0.05 is very small number. What does it mean for us? Let's look at the hypothesis, H0 hypothesis, that the mean weight loss is 0, and the H1 hypothesis, the mean weight loss is greater than 0. So we reject the H0 because, as I said, p-value is low. And we stated the conclusion that we conclude that the mean weight loss who adhere to this diet for 12 months is greater than 0. Now, often in your questions, you will be asked to find the or calculate the test statistic T. I tell you, this is the formula, but you don't need to do it by hand, because once you use t-test, you will find the T as well. So, and we have to state the conclusion of the test in words, and here my instructions how to do it. Usually when you read the research done on using this method, the conclusion whether reject or not reject the H0 is not there. Usually the researcher provides the p-value, and reader will decide whether H0 should be rejected or kept. So here's the instructions how to use TI-84 calculator for testing a hypothesis about a population mean when the population standard deviation is unknown. So we're going to state, then test menu, then select t-test, it's over here, and on number 2, and then you select input, either it's data if you have raw data, or statistics, which if you have, like in our case, X bar and the sample mean. And then you follow these steps. So please read these instructions. At this moment, I prepared for us another example that we can look at. It's number 38 from your textbook. So, and we can look at this and try to use TI-84 to solve. So it's number 38, section 9.3, your online textbook, if you want to open it right now. I give you time to find your textbook. So after you read number 38 in section 9.3, a test is made of H0 mu equals 48 versus H1 mu is not equal 48. A sample of size 162 is drawn. The sample mean and standard deviation are x bar equals 49 and s equals 28. So again, the sample size is large, so we can apply the p-value method. Compute the value of the test statistic. Remember, I told you in previous case that the test statistic will be calculated for you. You don't need to use this formula unless you really want it. This is the formula for T. but your calculator will provide this answer. How many degrees of freedom are there? Degrees of freedom are one less than the sample size. So it will be 162, subtract 1, and it gives you 161 degrees of freedom. Is H naught rejected at the alpha level 0.05? For that, we need to use our TI-84. I use online version here, and I need to see what I enter. But first, I'll show you what where I'm going to find the t-test command. Stat test, and number 2, either you drop down one step or you click 2 and enter. So again, we need to choose whether we have data or stats. We have stats because X bar is given and we enter. So we have the stats. Now we need to check what values for this question we have. So mu is 48. X bar 49. Sample standard deviation 28. Sample size 162, and the hypothesis H naught mu equals 48, and H1 mu is not equal, so we choose this one. And then we're going to calculate. So we calculate, and we got the value of T 0.4545686645. They usually ask you to round till 4 decimal places, but it's always read the instructions. The p-value is 0.65. The p-value is 0.65, which is, if you compare to the alpha, the significance level, it's greater than 0.05. So in this case, is H naught rejected at a level? No, we do not reject, because we would reject if p-value will be less than 0.05, but in our case, the p-value was just, as I want to compare, 0.6500. It is greater than 0.005. And we do not reject when the alpha level is 0.01 as well. So with this all, I conclude my video. And the purpose of this video was to show you how to use a TI-84 command t-test to calculate the test statistic T, and how to the hypothesis test.